The Apprentice and the Cursed Castle. Years upon years ago, there lived a poor lad in the province of Bocovania. For 7 hard years he had been a blacksmith's apprentice, and during that time he had not even learned how to shoe a horse. Hence, when his apprenticeship was over, he decided to seek his fortune elsewhere. He walked towards the nearest city, but by the time he arrived there, night had fallen, and the huge entrance gates were closed. So he gathered some straw together and shaped it into a bed, and lay himself down on it, and fell asleep. When he awoke the next morning, he noticed a hole in the wall. He crept through it and entered a magnificent castle. To his surprise, he realized that there was not a living soul in the city. The emperor, empress, the prince and princesses, as well as all the people, had been turned to stone. When he entered the great dining hall of the palace, a cat came and placed some food on the table. After he had finished the excellent repast, the cat sat down next to him and gave him a deck of cards. Then he spoke. "My lord will arrive this evening, and he will want to play cards with you. Play with him until 10 o'clock, and then slap him in the face. Between 10 and midnight, ghosts, evil spirits, and devils, as many as there are blades and glass on the lawn, will torment you. Under no circumstances are you to even say one word to them, no matter what they say or how much they threaten you. If you should falter and speak as much as a single word, then you too will be turned to stone, and you will remain a stone figure for 100 years. Do you think you can perform this task? Do you think you can stand up to the evil creatures?" "Yes," said the apprentice. "The past 7 years have taught me how to endure a great deal of pain without uttering a word of complaint." He stretched out on a cot and slept until 9 o'clock. Then he heard a loud rap on the door. A tall man in a dark cape entered the room and asked the apprentice if he would like to play cards. They played until 10 o'clock. Then the lad slapped the stranger's face. Instantly the hall resounded with fearsome howls and screeches. Ghosts and devils rushed over to the lad and asked him what he was doing in the palace. When he did not reply, they threatened to throw him into a lion's den. But when he still did not answer, they tried new tactics. They promised him sacks filled with gold and silver if he would only talk, but the lad didn't say a word. Then they pushed him and shoved him. They kicked him and slapped him in the face, but the lad didn't say a word. They pulled his hair and twisted his ears, and when it seemed that a moan of pain would cross his lips, the clock struck 12. Instantly the spirits disappeared. The lad dragged himself back to the cot and fell asleep. When he awoke the next morning, he noticed that the parts of the statues were no longer stone. The arms apparently to have life in them. He walked down the long hall. They moved, as if to salute him. The cat once again served him food and said, "Tonight, everything will be much worse. But if you can maintain your strength and stand up to the monsters, you will be richly rewarded." At exactly 9 o'clock, the strange lord, this time dressed in a velvet cape, appeared before him. "Let us play cards," he said in a deep and sinister voice. At 10 o'clock, the lad once again slapped him in the face. Instantly the spirits returned. This time they had bodies of men, but heads of tigers, snakes, and bats. "If you speak, lad," they said, "we will tell you the secrets of life." But when he did not speak, they punched him and tripped him. They pinched him and bit him, but nothing they did could make the apprentice talk, and with the first chime of the clock striking midnight, they disappeared as mysteriously as they had arrived. The next morning, when he awoke, he heard voices in the palace. He realized that the statues were no longer stone, but that they were still unable to move. The cat brought him food and royal clothes. He ate, then put on the handsome clothes, and went into the princess's chamber. She smiled at him and said, "One more night, my lord, and I shall become your empress." Then her eyes closed and she fell asleep. Upon returning to his chamber, the cat warned him of the coming night. "Tonight will be the worst. It will be the most unbearable. But if you have the strength, you will be richly rewarded." The cat, indeed, told the truth. This night was the worst. The spirits changed their shapes to those of his father and mother. Since the lad had not seen his parents for 7 years, he was most anxious to speak to them. Once he almost opened his mouth, but then he remembered how the cat had warned him of the treachery of the evil spirits. And when they saw that the lad did not fall for their tricks, they changed into tarantulas, and scorpions, and threatened to sting and bite him. Finally, they promised to kill him if he would not talk. One of the spirits turned into a giant, lifted a huge boulder over his head, prepared to hurl it upon the lad, threatening to crush him. Just then it seems that the boy thought all was lost. Just when the boulder was leaving the giant's hands, the clock struck 12. Absolute silence returned to the room. The next morning he awoke to the playing of music. The valet entered his room, bowed low, and said, "What would your majesty like for breakfast this morning?" But before the lad could answer, a handsome young prince, dressed in the finest clothes the poor apprentice had ever seen, said, "My friend and future brother-in-law, I salute you. You have freed this kingdom from the evil spell with which it had been cursed. 10 years ago, my sister refused to marry the sinister lord with whom you had played cards the past 3 nights. When she learned that he was an evil spirit, to take his revenge, he turned every living thing in the castle to stone. Once a year I was permitted to stalk through the castle in the form of a cat, and it happened that just on the day you appeared, you bravely withstood all the tests that were imposed on you. The reward for having freed us is to become our king." Upon hearing this, the young lad dressed himself in the magnificent wedding robes of a prince of the realm. When he entered the banquet hall, the lovely princess came up to him and embraced him. The wedding was held that very same day, but unlike other wedding celebrations that last for just a few hours, this one continued for 3 days and nights. In the meantime, the lad had made arrangements to have his parents brought to the castle. Great was everybody's surprise when they found out that the parents of their handsome young king were gypsy folk. But as much as the young prince tried to persuade his parents to stay with him in the castle and enjoy his good fortune, the gypsies refused. They understood that their own happiness was not based on riches and the comfort of regal living. They were people of the earth, nomads whose restless spirits made them move from town to town and from village to village. Their pleasure lay in the simple life around a campfire, in song and dance. Hence, the prince was not surprised one morning to find that his parents had left, but he was deeply moved to find the message they had left for him. "All is as all must be, each man to his own destiny.